For a long time in my career, I've described to you guys how I've been very, very consistent. In the beginning, I struggled until I listened. I listened to what I learned in Mickey's class 3 days a week. I fought, I battled. But before that, I laid a solid foundation for trading on the floor, for successful floor trading by my years as a clerk. I trained my mind, my eyes, my ears to be able to see and hear and watch and think and take in all kinds of rapid stimuli, information, and decipher it and act on it very quickly without hesitation. And so I learned that I can trust myself. I knew that I was good at that. Now I had to learn how to apply those same skills, those skills that I learned as a clerk, as a trader. When I started trading, I was a little bit surprised and flabbergasted that they didn't transpire or transpond into trading. What made me such a great clerk did not make me a good trader. I could not figure out how to make money, just no matter what I did, until I took Mickey's class. And then I began to kind of put a framework around my mindset. Then I began to build a solid foundation from which to build a trading career from. And then I learned how to trade the opening range, and I learned how to read capital flow, and I learned how to capitalize on the market movements. And I was consistent. I didn't have a losing week. I didn't have a losing month. And I don't believe I had very many losing days. And I mean, for years, all of 98, all of 99, all of 2000, 2001, going into 2002 was when I started to have swings. With some things that have happened in my life at that time that led up to my separation, my divorce with my ex-wife, that started to knock me off my balance, right? Then I started to have these big equity swings. Then the boom bust cycle started to happen to me. I was stuck in that for a very long time then too. I'd say from 02, 03 to 2004 or 5, then I started to slide onto the screen and into the hogs, onto the screen, into the hogs. And I started to find my footing again. And I started to become much more consistent, but small, consistent, but small again. So I was rebuilding my career, and then the prop room, right? After the prop room and then MF Global, same thing. I was trading very well, back in the consistent part, back into the 10% part, and it worked. It was very good. It was very strong, and it was very nice. Then as things progressed in that year that we've talked about, 08 and 09, there was a prolonged period of time where I couldn't buy a winning trade. And then after the MF Global disaster, I could not buy one winning trade. There's an old trading adage that says, I just need one in a row. I need one in a row. If only I can find one winning trade, I can build on it. I need one in a row. I couldn't find that one in a row. Man, I couldn't pay somebody to put that one in a row in my account. I didn't know how to get back to that part of my heart and my soul. I didn't know how to get back into it in my brain. I could not get back into being that 10% of the consistently profitable traders. I found myself then, instead of being in that 30, 40% of trading in an addictive manner. And I traded for parts of my career and I couldn't buy a winning trade because I was trading in an addictive way. I moved into the bigger, broader picture of 40 to 50% of traders, as Mark Douglas put it, who were riding that boom bust cycle where I was consistent and I would have big returns, and then bam, I'd blow it all. Then bam. And I talked a little bit about that today. How many of us have experienced periods of trading where we would be very consistent. We would just trade great, blow up. And then ironically, after we blew up, it's almost like a relief. Okay, good. I got that out of the way. It wasn't so bad. It's only 2 months worth of work. It's only 6 months worth of work. Here's the good news. I just blew myself up really bad, but I know for the next couple of months, for the next 6 months, I'm going to be trading great. It was almost like a relief after I had a big roller coaster ride down. I had no idea how to get back to that spot of being into the 10% of consistently profitable. I didn't have any idea, and I wanted to so desperately. I didn't know how to do it. In October of 11, when MF went under, I didn't have a choice. Out of my 5 kids, 2 were well taken care of, 3 weren't. Plus, I moved in with my 75-year-old father at the time with my wife and 3 kids and 2 other ones on the weekends. I had the world pressing against me. At least I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. How in the fuck am I going to carry this rock? How am I going to carry this rock back up this hill to become that trader that is in the top 10% of all traders, that is consistently profitable? I knew what it felt like. I was there before. I knew what it felt like. I knew what it took to get there in a previous time of my life. I didn't know how to do it then. I went downtown. I met with Mickey. I met with Anthony and his partner, Vince. I walked out of there brokenhearted because those guys were concentrating on doing their own thing. And what I walked out of that meeting with, they walked out with a quote from me saying that Matt, Pax, Kenna from the NASDAQ pit highly recommends E-mini executioners. I walked out with a broken heart, but they had my endorsement, whatever that meant. That's when, I tell the story about Jen and I going to Florida and Jen and I trying to figure things out and all of that, and then Jen believing in me and trusting in me and telling me, that she loved me. And I'm not minimizing it. I'm not going over it quickly. I'm just saying that was the case and that was what was going on. My wife trusted me, and my wife telling me that the man that she knew from the trading floor was a man that she married, a sensitive, loving, kind man with my tears right behind my eyes, as my mother would say. She believed in me. She trusted in me. And because she did, that gave me the ability to go and find the confidence again until I became that trader again that was consistently profitable. Now, that means a lot of things. And I talk about what that means all the time. I have been that consistent trader since 2013, just like on the trading floor. 1 lots, 2 lots, 3 lots, 4 lots, pay lines, targets, second targets, third swing positions, longer term positions, adding to them, all of those things, till I started to no longer trade randomly, till I started to no longer have these inconsistent, euphoric boom bust cycles, but where every day was if not a financially positive day, a constructive day. At the end of each day, I would be able to say it was a successful day, even if I was not green, because I knew at the end of the week I would be. My goal every single day from that time forward, and it still is to be green at the end of the day. I do the same thing 100 times out of 100. I don't veer from my process. There are times where I will initiate trades in different areas, but they're all written in my plan. I don't ever veer from my plan. That's one thing that traders who struggle are going to do so by veering from their plan. And then we get rewarded for bad behavior. It's interesting because I had a trader this week in one-on-one was a trader said, got a couple of scratches, I think a loss or two, could have been up or down money. He wasn't sure, but he knew enough that he was not on top of his game and he was going to shut it down and he was going to watch and trade on the simulator for the rest of the day. And we had a trader who took a shot in the negative crude market, made a lot of money. Guys, I would rather put money into the account of the trader who said that he locked it down. I would say, I would rather put the money into that trader's account than the trader who came back and said, I did X, I did this, that, and the other thing, and made a lot of money and trading in the wrong spots at the wrong time in the wrong markets and for the wrong reason. In order for me to know who I am as a trader, in order for me to know whether or not I am on top of my game and whether or not I am peaking, and I am only a human being. I cannot be 100% of the time. I can do the best that I can in order to be that. But I am only human. I am going to break down. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to lose my focus. Fucking, I've got cancer, goddammit. I'm on fucking medicine. I don't fucking feel good all the time. But I do my best to try to make sure that I am focused enough, confident enough, fearless enough, and carefree enough to be able to trade no matter how I feel, inside of my lane. And if I can stay in my lane, by that I mean if I can completely focus, if I can trade fearlessly, and if I can trade confidently and carefree and stay within my lane by trading my plan and not trade anywhere except for the opening range or at any of those targets, that's staying in my lane. That's what I mean by staying in my lane. I can do that as long as I'm going to bed at roughly the same time, as long as I'm waking up at roughly the same time, as long as I'm doing my exercises, my workouts, my breathing, my prayer, my meditation, as long as I'm eating and fueling my body with intent, as long as what I read with intent, what I watch with intent, what I listen to with intent. And when I relax and I recreate with my family, or I recreate with my family. Look at the word, look at that word. I try to choose my words carefully. Recreation, recreation. I try to recreate with my family with intent, all designed to help make me the most consistent trader I can be. All designed to make me the most consistent man I can be. All designed to make me the most consistent husband and father I can be. If I'm not one of those things, I'm not any of those things. If I'm not any of those things, then I'm not going to be good to anyone. So I need to stick to my routines. I need to stick to my rituals and routines, which have become my habits. I tweak my habits so that they become better. I allow myself to be challenged by people that I care about and that I trust so that I refine my habits so that I become a better trader, so that I can trade more mechanically. And again, to be clear, by that, what I mean is I leave my emotions out of my trading. I trade the process, I trade the price points. I don't blend and I don't mix trading methods and trading processes. I stick to mine. If it's not written in my plan, I'm not trading it. Period. That's all. End of story. When I talk about trading mechanically, I do not talk about taking every attempt out of the opening range. We have to ask ourselves, what is the market telling us? What's the market telling us? Where is my head? If I've got 3 or 4 or 5 round turns and I have not found the momentum of the market, where's my head? Is it my ass or is it in the fucking screens? We all have to be able to recognize that. If we don't recognize it, we're going to be on the bench by the time the market makes its move. And we are going to have some pretty serious moves coming up, and we cannot afford to have our head shoved up our asses, guys. Trading is all about balance, balancing so many different aspects. And it's about learning how to keep that balance and live in that balance. And the only way that I know how to live in that balance is to take the pressure off of myself. I need to drop that rock that I'm carrying. I need to drop the fucking burden, man. I need to give time. And I need to say, you know what? I am not the trader that I'm going to be today. I'm not the trader that I want to be today. And I'm not the trader that I'm going to be today. But boy, by God, I will be. I will be. I hear Pax say that I have to give myself a year or 2 years, maybe even 3 years. I can tell you that looking back on my career, I can tell you that these last 7 to 8 years of my life have flown by. If I sat and I'm looking from the winter of 2012 and I'm looking forward to the spring of 2020, I'd say, oh God, it's going to take me that long to have a 2000 like year again? Oh God, that's too long. No way. I'm going to go sell fucking Cadillacs. I'm going to go put some money on the street. I'm going to go hustle. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do that. No. I took one step at a time. I took one trade at a time, and I gave myself time because I knew the trader that I was before. I didn't know how to get there yet, but I did know if I did it before that I can do it again. I didn't know how to do it, but I did know that if I was green at the end of the day, that was a step in the right direction. And if I was green at the end of the day after that, that was one more step in the right direction. And if I was green the day after that, there was another step in the right direction. And before you know it, I've got a month's worth of steps in the right direction strung together. And before you know it, that month becomes 6, becomes a year. That year becomes 2 years. And it all started with one day just trying to be green, not trying to be a hero. But I strung it together one trade at a time, one day at a time, green. One step at a time is what I'm saying. And guys, if I can do it, believe me when I tell you this, if I can do it, fucking you guys can. Every fucking one of you can. And I did it twice. You can do it once. So do it.